This is Walt Coleman with the Arkansas Association of High School Officials with this week's training video. The only way to improve your officiating skills is to watch video. Let's take a look at a few plays. Guys, on this play, take a look at the man in the slot, or he's actually on the line of scrimmage on the right, and watch that movement by his left foot. That's a movement. He's simulating the snap. That's a false start. We've got to get those. The line judge makes the correct call. The important thing we need to remember on this particular play is we have a pass down the middle of the field, and we need to always work really hard to keep the play boxed in and to stay wide so that we can make sure that we see everything that happens on the play. On this particular situation, we have a completed pass, and then we have a fumble, and the line judge comes well onto the field prior to the ball even being dead. So be sure and stay wide until the play is over, and then you can come in. The umpire and the referee will be in a position to work the middle of the field, and the wingmen stay wide, and that gives you a good perspective of what's going on around the players, around the pile, and you can see if there's any type of violations that might happen. Try to stay off the field. Punts are one of the most challenging plays to work in officiating because you have 22 players spread out all over the field, and you guys have to try to work it with 5 men. The back judge needs to make sure that he is lined up on the head linesman's side of the field, somewhere in the vicinity of the hash mark, or maybe a little closer to the middle of the field, and at least 5 yards behind the receiver. That way he has a good look looking through the receiver at the players coming downfield. So he's in a very good position to see illegal blocks in the back or any other type of fouls that might happen in front of the receiver. The head linesman and line judge are responsible for working the sidelines. The back judge needs to work from inside out. As a back judge, when you're working behind the receiver, you have to go very slow in determining whether he caught the ball or muffed the ball. But make sure that you've got yourself in a position behind the receiver where you can actually see the ball. One of the things that's very difficult in handling punt plays is when the receiver signals for a fair catch and then the ball goes over his head. And on this type of play, the back judge is responsible for following the ball and going with the ball. And so if the signaler of the fair catch decides to go and block, then that becomes an issue and is a foul. But the back judge will not be in a position to be able to see that. So you need to be sure and cover in your pregame conference how you're going to communicate between the line judge and the back judge to be sure and pick up this particular type foul. This is another good indication of why it's so important to have a very thorough pregame and cover situations like this. Here's another example of a punt play where the back judge needs to be much more into the center of the field. Probably should be just slightly to the left of the receiver and behind the receiver, so that he's got a good inside-out look on this punt coverage. We've got receivers spread all over the field, and we have the line judge 2 yards on the field. There is no reason for the line judge or the head linesman or any wing official to start off on the field. Get as wide as possible to work the play. On this play, take a look at the block by the offensive center. He tackles the defender right at the point of attack. This would normally be the umpire's responsibility. But as you can see, there are several players in his way. So this could also be one that maybe the referee could help out on, because it is about 3 yards into the offensive backfield. But this is offensive holding right at the point of attack. Watch the block by the right guard on this play. Terrific pickup by the referee of offensive holding. It's a good thing he got it, because it's the umpire's man. Unfortunately, the referee got the holding but did not continue to officiate, and the quarterback wound up way wide to the right with no coverage. So remember, great call for offensive holding. Saved the crew, but continue to officiate and cover the quarterback. Umpire, don't forget what your keys are: the center and the 2 guards. Check the movement of the left tackle on this particular play prior to the snap. If you will notice that he gets a little head start backwards, this should be a false start and would be the responsibility of the head linesman. These are the type of false starts we need to get. Everybody in the park sees these. This play is a great training play for looking to see some of the things that you can use to determine whether you're going to have defensive pass interference. You can see on this play the defender is beat. The defender is not playing the ball. And when you have those two elements, there is a good likelihood that there could be defensive pass interference. So when you see the defender beat and not playing the ball, those are two really good indications for the potential for defensive pass interference. Take a look at the wide receiver on the left on this particular play. The defensive back grabs him almost right off the line, holds him as he goes downfield, and interferes with him. This would be a good example of defensive holding that turns into defensive pass interference, and so defensive pass interference would be the correct call on this play. This play is a perfect example of the difficult job that wing guys have in trying to keep the players up on the line of scrimmage. With the proliferation of the passing game, the tackles like to get back, and in the punting game, they have a tendency to do the same thing. Here's a good example. The whole right side of the line is basically lined up in the backfield and is off the line of scrimmage. Just continue to work with the players and help them to get up on the line of scrimmage. But when you have one like this where they're 2 yards back, not much you can do but have a flag for illegal formation.
That's going to do it for our Week 3 training video with Arkansas Association of High School Officials President Walt Coleman. We hope you enjoyed our presentation and will join us next week for Week 4 as we continue to bring you plays from around Arkansas to help you train as a high school football official.